Hello fellow DMs and PCs, we're going to today discuss optimizing a Bloodhunter Order of the Lycan. First we're going to start with what race we want to be, and the reason I picked the Warforged race is because it stacks a lot of AC upon itself, and it combos so perfect to help it against the Order of the Lycan, Bloodlust, and Curse weakness. You have vulnerability to damage from silvered weapons. How do you counteract this? Easy. Don't get hit. Bloodlust. At the start of your turn, if you take in any damage since the beginning of your last turn, you must make a wisdom saving throw to maintain control. Now, if you failed on the save, you must move directly towards the nearest creature to you and use the attack action against that creature. Now, the problem with this Bloodlust is that it can ruin your party. It can ruin the fun for the rest of your teammates if they're positioned incorrectly. And that can happen a lot of the times. So how do you counteract Bloodlust besides doing wisdom saves? Don't get hit. And how can you not get hit? Easy. Get that AC high. But if you get high AC, you're thinking, oh, then I'm sacrificing damage. No, there's a way to have high AC and high damage, and I'll show you. Okay, let's begin with the race. I would recommend Warforged. Now, some are gonna say, why, if the Order of the Lycan, for you to be able to take that order, you need to be able to roleplay wise, have some kind of blood in you. Well, that's not necessarily true. Warforged do have some kind of blood. Warforged are formed from a blend of organic and inorganic materials. Root-like cords infused with alchemical fluids serve as their muscles wrapped around a framework of steel. Now, here we go. Why Warforged? Because Warforged have something called integrated protection, which is what is going to help you against the Order of the Lycan's Bloodlust and their vulnerability to silver. Here's how. Instead of having to be able to wear regular armor, because regular wearing armor does nothing for them, they have their own style of protection. You can either switch over to Darkwood Core from composite plating to heavy plating. I don't recommend heavy plating. Use one of these two, Darkwood Core. You start off with composite plating first, then when your dexterity modifier reaches 4 and up, you switch over to Darkwood Core. Let me explain why. Composite plating at level 1, 13, plus your dex modifier, maximum of 2, that's 15. Plus your proficiency bonus, which is at level 1 plus 2, that's 17. 17 plus a shield, that's 19 AC. 19 AC at level 1. And for you and your team to fight against creature ratings at level 1, and you to sit there with 19 AC and have a one-handed weapon that does an additional 1d4 damage because you decided to cut yourself, the enemy is going to have a hard time touching you. While at the same time, you're going to have your revenge for making them hurt yourself so you can hurt them harder. Now, here we go. Eventually, when your when your dex modifier gets to plus 4, then it'll catch up to composite plating with Darkwood Core. How? 11 plus 4, that's 15. 13 plus 2, that's 15. Proficiency bonus. Let's say it's 2. Proficiency bonus here, let's say it's 2. Would both equal out to 17. But once you cap your dexterity mod to 5, it surpasses composite plating by 1 more AC. So after you get to 4, just switch over to Darkwood Core and just stick with Darkwood Core, and you're going to have an easy 20 AC. And over time, your proficiency bonus does scale up all the way to level 17, where it stops and caps at plus 6. You'll easily, with dexterity capped and your proficiency bonus capped, you'll easily, unbuffed with a regular old shield, you'll have 25 AC, and you'll have 3 attacks, three claw attacks. Now, I recommend you focus on dexterity over strength. Don't be so MAD. Why? Because it's going to help you to hit. It's going to help you to your AC, and because with the Order of the Lycan, they get too many things that help with the claws to attack with the claws for your DPR. There's predatory strike. Your unarmed strikes are considered a single weapon in regards to your Crimson Right feature, meaning you get to put them on both your hands for the cost price of one, instead of dual wielding 2 extra HP every character level. Then, when you use the attack action with an unarmed strike, you can make an unarmed strike as a bonus action. And this is how you get to attack multiple times, because at level 5 you get extra attack. So you attack, extra attack, and then as a bonus action, because it was claws, you get to attack again. That's 3 attacks. Now your unarmed strikes deal 1d6 slashing damage. Yeah, that's not as high as a rapier, but guess what? Eventually it does get as high as a rapier without having to sacrifice that much HP. Because if you're dual wielding rapiers, which some people are saying, oh, dual wield rapiers for the Bloodhunter, well then that's double the HP you're gonna lose out. But with this, you get to do the equivalent. At level 18 you'll be able to do the equivalent of dual wielding rapiers, plus you get the bonus of wearing a shield. Next, after the AC part is in check to help you with Bloodlust. You also get Resilient Hide, which Resilient Hide states you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical weapons that aren't silvered, sort of like the Barbarian, while you are not wearing heavy armor. And at the Warforged, Darkwood Core is considered unarmored, giving you an extra +1 to your AC. So PCs and DMs, you're that much closer to being at 30 AC, making you that much harder to hit, not having to deal so much with Bloodlust, in case your party decides to not be so smart, in case you don't want to be hassling everyone by taking life from everyone and losing a turn. But on top of that, I digress. Let's look now at what kind of damage we're looking at. Oh, one more thing. Beastly Precision. You gain a bonus to melee attack rolls made with your unarmed strikes, equal to half of your proficiency bonus, rounded down. And more to hit means higher DPR. Now let's look at how we can improve yourself to do even more DPR. Well, you have Pack Hunter. At level 15, you have advantage on an attack roll against a creature if at least one of your allies is within 5 feet of the creature and the ally isn't incapacitated. You don't have to fear so much anymore being your allies with over 20 AC. Now we're gonna look at how we can boost up this damage, how we can make the damage, this already nice beautiful damage, even more beautiful and ridiculous, because you are a raging werewolf after all. Now let's look at Warforged one more time. You have an ability score increase to your constitution by 1, and depending on your sub race between Envoy, Juggernaut, and Skirmisher, I'd go with either Skirmisher, your dexterity score increases by 2, or Envoy, 2 different ability scores of your choice increase by 1. And what you can do is, because Constitution is so important to the Bloodhunter, you can give an additional 1 to the Constitution, and then the last one to go to Dexterity, getting you that much closer to the cap. Then, on top of that, try to keep in mind that you have a mission, and your mission is to do as much max damage as possible. And let's see, some people are going to say two-handed is going to do more damage than just a one-handed unarmed attack, but let's do the math real fast. Here we go. Let's say you're using a great axe, okay, and let's say we are at level 5. Okay, let's try first with claws. Your claws do 1d6, Crimson Right plus 1d6, Feral Might, which is your proficiency bonus rounded down by half, is +1 at that level. And then your modifier, let's assume it's 4, plus 4 equals 11. So do it again, attack again because of extra attack, then bonus attack, another 11. Total average of 33. Now this is all in just an average damage. Now let's see what happens with Great Axe. Okay, Great Axe 1d12 plus Crimson Right 1d6 plus Ferromite 1 plus Mod, assuming it's 4, is 4. Then extra attack, the same thing, averaging out to 14, and then total average of that is 28. So total average between claws, 3 attacks, 33, and total average of Great Axe two-handed, 2 attacks, 28. There's a nice little difference right here. So that's why I'd say stick with the claws. Don't worry about the dual wielding because you'll be missing out on extra AC, and you're eventually going to catch up to dual wielding damage anyways. And let's look at the pros about it. With claws, more damage, especially at level 11 when they turn into 1d8 claws. More AC, higher to hit at level 11 because of beastly precision, only works on unarmed attacks. Higher DPR because you'd miss less if you had 3 attacks and beastly precision. Now, what would you do how can we make this hit even harder? Easy. I've discovered something that most people overlook, a class that seems to be weak to some and strong to others, but I rarely seen it play out in a lot of places. The Ranger class. That's right, the Ranger class. Now, as for why the Ranger? Because we want to get Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark, we get that at around level 2. You get Hunter's Mark, and now all of a sudden you're doing 3d6 damage instead of 2d6. Now, mind you, 2d6 isn't bad. 2d6 is equivalent as a great sword or a great axe. But with Hunter's Mark, you're doing 3d6 plus Ferromite plus your mod, which is right here. 3d6 plus 4 plus 1, and that averages out to be 14. So at level 7, character level 7, if you were to, after level 5, after getting extra attack, you were to get Ranger and get Hunter's Mark at level 2, class level 2, character level 7, then you're looking at something around Hunter's Mark plus Crimson Right plus Claws plus ability modifier plus Ferromite 3 times 14, 14, 14, total average of, and this is all averaged out, 42 damage per turn, not counting your opportunity attacks. Now let's look at what else we can get from Ranger, since we're going to multi-class into it. 3 or 4 levels, it just depends on you. Why? Because of the Ranger archetype. I would want to get favored enemy, where in the Unearthed Arcana revised version, favored enemy gives you a +2 to your damage against your favorite kind of enemy, making each of your attacks do +2 more damage. And I would go for, of course, humanoids. Now another thing is the Ranger archetype. I would definitely, here's where I definitely want it. Hunter at 3rd level, Colossus Slayer, Giant Killer, and Horde Breaker. These three. Colossus Slayer, your tenacity can wear down the most potent foes. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, the creature takes an extra 1d8 damage if it's below its hit point maximum. You can deal this extra damage only once per turn, which isn't bad. 1d8 in addition to just 1d8 one time per turn, that's great. Add that on top of Hunter's Mark, which happens every single attack, plus right damage, plus my claws, and we get something quite beautiful, really, because at character level 8, which you would is when you have all that, you're looking at 3d6 plus 4 modifier, assuming you have your modifier still at 4, plus 1, which is Feral Might, it's 14. Then your Colossus Slayer, because they're now hurt, and the extra attack, now 3d6 plus 4 plus 1 equals 18 average. Then 3d6 because of Hunter's Mark, Crimson Right, and Claws, plus ability modifier plus Feral Might, averaging out to 14 again, and that will give you a total average of 46. And if you're using the Unearthed Arcana, depending on your DM, favorite enemy plus 2 to whoever is your favorite enemy, a total average of 52 damage, because that plus 2 is for every attack. Now Heartbreaker. Heartbreaker is a beauty. With Heartbreaker, once on each of your turns, when you make a weapon attack, you can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature that is within 5 feet of the original target and within range of your weapon. Meaning, if you're surrounded or you're facing more than one opponent, you get to attack one enemy 3 times, and then you get to do a 4th attack on another enemy. That's 4 attacks in one turn. That's pumping your DPR to an average of 60 damage per turn. And at the same time, you're helping your party bring down someone else. And that's not even counting your attack of opportunity by the end of the round. Or Giant Killer. Giant Killer. When a large or larger creature within 5 feet of you hits or misses you with an attack, you can use your reaction to attack that creature immediately after its attack, provided that you can see that creature. Meaning if it's a large or larger creature, mostly a boss or an ogre or a dragon, if it misses you, you get to punish it. If it doesn't miss you and it hits you, you get to have a reaction to punish it still. So you don't have to wait for an attack of opportunity with thanks to Giant Killer. So between Colossus Slayer and Heartbreaker and Hunter's Mark, multi-classing into Ranger is a pretty good option because it will increase your DPR. Now you're gonna have a ton of DPR, a ton of AC, and you won't be relying too much on resources, because let's look at Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark, duration 1 hour. A fight should not last long. An in-game fight should not last 1 hour. And as for the Lycan Order, your transformation, your hybrid transformation, you get 2 of them, and they each last 10 minutes. An in-game battle shouldn't last longer than 10 minutes. Plus you get 2 of them. Now depending on how far you want to multi-class, it's up to you. Now here's where I'm gonna leave it to you, but I'll help you with some math. First of all, for the Ranger, because of Hunter's Mark and because of Colossus Slayer and Heartbreaker. But if you don't care for Heartbreaker, don't bother going in just for Colossus Slayer, because you'll lose in DPR. How? I'll show you. Let's say you have without Colossus Slayer, so you only go 2 levels into Ranger for Hunter's Mark. Then that would mean that you'd have 18 levels into Bloodhunter, and at this 18th level, your claws would also be doing 1d10 damage, as you can see right here. 1d10 at 18th level. So let's look at the math. Without Colossus Slayer, claws plus Crimson Right plus modifier, which would be cat by now, plus Hunter's Mark plus Feral Might, which would be at that level would be at 3, which because Feral Might is half of whatever your proficiency bonus is would average out to 21. Then extra attack, an average another of 21. Then bonus action attack, another average of 21, averages out to equal 63 damage, not including your opportunity attacks. Now, with Colossus Slayer, your claws aren't going to be doing 1d10, they're going to be doing 1d8, plus Crimson Right, also 1d8, plus Hunter's Mark, 1d6, plus Feral Might, plus your modifier, would all average out to be 19. Then now that they're hurt, your Colossus Slayer would be able to proc that one time. Claws, Colossus Slayer, Crimson Right, Hunter's Mark, Feral Might, Mod, all together 23. Then back to regular without the Colossus Slayer, giving you an average of 19. So in total it averages out to 61 damage instead of 63 if you were to only go 2 levels into Ranger. So you do more damage to one target if you took 18 levels into Order of the Lycan and 2 levels into Ranger. But you would have Heartbreaker, and Heartbreaker is nice, but it's situational. So really it's up to you. But at the same time, you know, Order of the Lycan, if you take it to level 18, you would have Hybrid Transformation Mastery, meaning you'd get to be able to do it three times instead of just 2. And you also gain the Blood Curse of the Howl for your Blood Magnetic feature. This does not count against your Blood Curses known, but it's up to you really. Now we want to look at some feats so that it can be that more magnificent and efficient in the battlefield with Sentinel. It's one way to make Bloodlust easier. Whenever you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, its speed drops to 0 for the rest of the turn. That keeps a creature locked in front of you if you don't miss. Creatures within your reach provoke opportunity attacks even if they took the disengage action. This almost guarantees that you're going to have an opportunity attack on any creature. Then, for the loss of HP, because of amplifying and because of Crimson Right activation, another easy one. You really want to get the feature Tough. Your hit point maximum increases by 2 per level. This applies retroactively, meaning all the levels before you grab the feat, as well as to every level you take hereafter. So for every character level you get plus 2 to HP, and because your claws only require 1 right activation, you get to keep 1 additional HP per level. So that's a nice little balance right there. Now I would recommend after that, because you're using a shield, use the shield to its maximum potential by getting Shield Master. You gain the following benefits while wielding a shield. But because of this, if you aren't incapacitated, you can add your shield's AC bonus to any dexterity save made against a spell or other effect that affects only you, which this is going to happen a lot mid to late game. If you are subjected to an effect which allows you to make a dexterity save for half damage, you can use your reaction to take no damage, interposing your shield between you and the effect. This is great for fighting against dragons and any magical creatures which comes around mid to late game. So you'll have Shield Master, Sentinel, and Tough. All 3 of these combined makes a great combo for the Lycan Order. Now let's look at how we can roleplay Warforged into a Lycan Order. That's easy. If you've seen the Transformers movie, they can transform into vehicles. They can also transform into dinosaurs, which was in the last Transformers movie. And in the 90s, there was a cartoon called Beast Wars Transformers where they were transforming into animals. Someone drew up an image of a werewolf, a mechanical werewolf, and here it is. So this is just an example of what you can do with a Warforged Lycan Order. Now, if you can come up with a better optimization, if you can come up with better other theory crafts, I would love to hear it. If you have another way of role-playing a Warforged lycanthropy, or if this somehow helps, I would also like to hear it as well. I know another build that I can share with you all. Instead, go for the race ASMR. And with the ASMR race, you'll be able to deal even more damage, but you'll have you won't have as high AC. You would be risking a lot the bloodlust, which is gonna suck for the rest of your party. That's why I like this build. It's above average AC and it's the right amount of damage. Anyway, you all take care, have a beautiful campaign experience.